Joining me now to discuss this and more, Newsmax legal analyst Jay Town. Jay, thanks so much for joining us. Trump also further threatened to charge Biden with perjury if he claims that he was involved in the AutoPen process. We know the guy could barely climb a set of stairs. He saw dead people. So we clearly know that he had no involvement really in all of these executive orders. What do you think happens next? And is Trump allowed to even do such a thing?
Well, he is allowed to, any executive order that stems from administration to administration, he's perfectly entitled to rescind. What's been happening, though, Lydia, and happy Thanksgiving to you, is over the last several months, the Department of Justice has been looking into the AutoPen issue as it was referred to them by Jim Comer and the Oversight Committee in the House. And it's important for viewers and everyone really to understand that under our criminal code, 18 U.S.C. 912, when someone falsely assumes the power, in this case of the presidency, but it could be of any executive official, it's a crime if they don't have authority to do so. And when 92% of everything that Joe Biden did was done by an AutoPen, it is very difficult for me to believe, and I think most Americans, that Joe Biden gave his consent for whatever that action was. And if it was just one or if it was all of them, it's still a crime because someone was acting as the President of the United States when they summarily decided that the AutoPen should be used.
And Biden signed approximately 162 executive orders during his presidency. And the only one we know for sure that he signed himself was that get out of jail free card that he signed for his son, Hunter Biden. So, how do we stop this from happening again? And of course, I'm looking at other articles and they're saying, oh, well, President Trump, he's also used the AutoPen. But to what you just said, the president has to know that it's being done. And it seems like Joe Biden didn't have the capacity to know what was happening.
Not only that, there wasn't a paper process for it. So, Lydia, if you were president and you asked me to AutoPen your signature on an important document, I would suggest everything the president signs is important. Then I would have at least an email trail or a memorialization of our conversation that says you have asked me to AutoPen the attached, right? And that would be, I think, perfectly legal and it makes sense. Biden didn't have that. It was all these sort of colloquial conversations in the cloakroom or, from the residence. I will guarantee you that a lot of those conversations were sort of mailman game between Joe Biden, others, and the chief of staff. And then finally, things were AutoPen. So this investigation needs to continue. And I believe with Ed Martin and, of course, Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche, I think it will.
Congressman James Comer, you brought him up, head of the House Oversight Committee. He welcomed Trump's announcement, writing on X, I applaud President Trump for deeming President Biden's AutoPen actions null and void. Once again, President Trump doing what so many Americans have been asking for, shutting down the border, reverse migration, and now this, because we do need to find out who was actually running the White House. We know it wasn't Joe Biden. I think it was a group of Democrat operatives, and it probably changed day to day. I don't know if it was Nancy Pelosi. We don't know. What do you think? Who do you think was behind the AutoPen? Do you think we'll ever find out?
I think we will find out, and I don't want to guess just because I don't want to put Mr. Ruddy in any trouble. But I will say that I think we will find out. I think enough pressure can be borne by the Department of Justice and placed on people to tell the truth. Because in watching Joe Biden for 4 years, nobody believes that man was in charge of this country. And when we asked in 2024, who's in charge of this country right now after his party kicked him off the ticket, nobody would answer that question. They said he was still great at being president, doing cartwheels in the Oval, but just not up for a campaign. Nobody believes that. I don't believe that. And DOJ has a responsibility to get to the bottom of it.
We certainly do. Thank you so much, Jay Town, for joining us. Thank you.
Thanks, Lydia.